Monday, the National Green Tribunal will be asking all the civic agencies, that is the BDA, the BWSSB, the BBMP, who are the custodian of the Bengaluru, the largest lake in Bengaluru, to submit an action plan.
This is the visual of the fire in the lake in Bangalore that we brought you on the 19th of January. You will remember, viewers, that this fire raged on for over 12 hours and it was very difficult for fire services to douse the fire because it was in the middle of the lake and they didn't know how to access the middle of the lake with their fire trucks. They had to call in the army to help out. The NGT has rapped the Karnataka government on the knuckles for not doing a better job with the Bengaluru lake after being told repeatedly. We know that the Indian Institute of Science had submitted recommendations to the government on cleaning up the lake in 2007, over 11 years ago, and none of those recommendations have been actioned. But this is not the only problem. Look at the other problems that Karnataka has been facing. Repeated bans called by people who are using language to create problems in the state. And it seems more than obvious that the state government is in cahoots with these people because there's an election coming up. A law and order issue where the Anekal rape case, the gang rape case, those 6 people have still not been arrested. The Gauri Lankesh murder, those 2 people still haven't been arrested. What is the Karnataka government doing? And what answer will it offer to its citizens who are going to ask them tonight, how much more of this nonsense do we have to put up with? Joining me on this show, Professor T.V. Ramchandra, Professor of Indian Institute of Science, part of the Bengaluru Lake Expert Committee that has been giving recommendations to the government for over a decade. Deepika Sharma, spokesperson of the BJP. Tara Krishnaswamy, social activist. Aftab Ahmed Khan is the former IPS officer. Vinay Srinivasa is a lawyer for the Alternative Law Forum. Kavita Reddy, spokesperson of the Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee. Commodore G.J. Singh is a defense analyst and a citizen voice. I welcome all of you to this conversation. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to go first to Professor Ramchandra. Professor, the NGT has been very clear that the Karnataka government has failed to do its job. Do you agree with the NGT at this point? I'm not sure if the professor can hear me. Let me then just take this question over to Commodore G.J. Singh. Commodore Singh, Bangalore right now is in a bandh because the Kannada Rakshana Vedike, whom the state government says they have nothing to do with, are repeatedly calling bandhs as if they run the state. Are the citizens of this state fed up?
Absolutely. I would say that the Bengaluru lake problem is totally an administrative failure. If you contrast the 2 lakes here that we have in Bangalore, the Alsur Lake, which is maintained by the army, and this Bengaluru lake, on one lake, like the Alsur Lake, you have the citizens, you have the people coming from the surrounding areas, going for a morning walk. Its water is clean. It is maintained well. It adds the beauty of Bangalore. Whereas on the other hand, the residents complain about the steady stench that comes out from that, organic material and the human waste and methane, release of methane gas. On one side, you have people who, flock in here. On the other side, people are afraid to go there because they are worried that it can catch fire anytime. There is no place to walk. The, thick piles of grass are lying around the banks of Bengaluru Lake. It is something which I would attribute completely to the human-made disaster. It is the failure on the part of the BDA, BBMP, BESSWS. I mean, all these agencies which are involved in maintenance of these lakes. Incidentally, Bangalore is, inhabited on the lakes. The age of this Balundar lake has been put as 200 years.
Right, right.
Whereas the Alsur lake is 250 years, more than 250 years. You find one lake has got a silt of 40 feet, the other lake is absolutely fine. There is, even the marine growth in it. I mean, it is something which I would say has been caused by negligence of the civic authorities. The High Court, Karnataka High Court, the National Green Tribunal, the other agencies have given their verdict on it, that the government is, soft paddling on them. They have to take some tough decisions to, get everything in order. I mean, it is something which I would call that famous Bangalore brand, name that we have around the world. Has taken a huge hit. One of the residents, I was just going through the paper, has complained that some of the American people have, they have refused to come to Bangalore, going, through the reports when they heard of Balundar Lake under fire, that this is something which is a place where one should not go, one can fall sick, and the law and order as it is overall is, I must say, is in a very poor state. You have, bunds every now and then. You have, earlier we were faced with the bad roads. The civil authorities here have to, pull up their socks.
Let me bring in Professor T.V. Ramchandra, who I understand can hear us right now. Professor Ramchandra, the NGT has been very clear about the fact that this is the Karnataka government's responsibility on Bengaluru lake, and the Karnataka government has failed. In your opinion, has the government done enough or done anything to improve the situation?
Well, the government has done some amount of work, that is like de-weeding they have done. The committee has given the recommendation, which is a short-term and a long-term measures. Both these recommendations should have been implemented by now. It's almost a 20 months now. Only the de-weeding has been done, and sewage treatment front, there is a 110 MLD treatment plant is functional after the last the frothing and the fire episode. So apart from that, I don't see much progress in the thing. See, still the lake is being encroached. Raja Kalways are narrowed and concretized, and the desilting should have happened. That has not started. But fortunately, it appears that we have a new chief secretary who has made some statement in the media yesterday and day before yesterday, saying that desilting would be taken up and the fencing of the lake would be taken up. I am hopeful of her action. Probably she might do something so that, and she has the track record of doing the job. So I am hoping that with the new chief secretary, things might start rolling in Karnataka.
Let me bring in the representative of the state government here. We have Kavita Reddy. Kavita Reddy, embarrassing as it is for the NGT to use such terminology when speaking to the Karnataka government, saying that it is your responsibility, you should have done it, you haven't done anything, give me a plan. It's almost like asking a child who's not done their homework why they haven't done their homework. Why is the Karnataka government's progress so abysmal when it comes to this lake?
That is your perception. I think it's your assessment. That is not the way it should be looked at. It's a Madam, let me speak. No, let me speak. You ask a question and you keep on intervening, which you don't do it with others. When I'm answering, just hear me. At least have the strength to hear me out. Every time you do this and you just don't have the debate further. Of course, I mean, the NGT has spoken about it. We totally adhere to what the NGT has, the guidelines which they have put out. As the professor said, there was a long-term plan, there was a short-term plan which was given. In the long-term plan, the STPs, 4 to 5 STPs were supposed to set up in different locations, which is happening in a phased manner. So the land for the STPs are already been granted. There are already 2 STPs which are coming out. One is a 35 MLD which is just started about 3 months back. The other one is almost functional. The other issue which is related to it is also the fencing is almost complete in most of the places. In terms of the encroachment, I do not agree that any kind of an encroachment is happening right now. Of course, there is a lot of garbage dumping which happens, for which the cameras, the CCTV cameras has been put up to monitor that. And coming to the fact that the stormwater drain clearance, yes, there is a point where from Agra Lake to Bengaluru Lake, the linkage is creating a lot of problem because of the kind of silt it has accumulated there. So once that is done, there is a Jakasandra pumping station which is there, from where the sewage will be pumped to various STPs further down and treated.
Kavita
The
Reddy,
other most important project which needs to be taken up, which is basically, 1 minute, let me finish. The other most important project which needs to be taken up, which is basically disconnecting the sewage, that is basically bypassing the entire sewage towards the STP, so that the treated water alone can go to the STPs. Of course, today there are multiple inlets from where the water or the unclean water or sewage water and industrial waste and lot of other waste is flowing into these lakes, and these inlets cannot be shut down immediately unless we have the STPs ready, and also the bypass.
and how long will it take to
these
make the
STPs
STP
are
ready?
Madam, I already have many times in your debate said this. This is if a long-term project, if you take up a lake like this, it will not be anything less
Which
than
means
4
that
to
the
3 to 4 years
BWSSB
minimum
had
it
already
has to take,
connected
because
its
the
sewage to
desilting
the
work-
lake to begin
Of
with.
course,
That was its
of
initial
course, ma'am,
plan.
Of course. No. It is not. That is not what our government responsibility. 2007, when BMP became BBMP, we were not in government. They did a bad job in terms of making the city bigger without any proper planning.
Okay,
And
so
we are
here's my
suffering.
question
This
to
lake
you.
is not today's
Here's my question
problem.
to
It
you.
is a problem of 10 to 12 years.
Here's my
10
question
to
to
12
you.
years. And
If
we are
you
handling
are
the
telling
problem of
me
the
that
10
you
to
have
12 years, which
CCTV
no other
cameras on
government had
garbage
done.
dumping
Two other
and you have
governments were there
finished the
earlier.
mesh wires around the lake, according to the BDA, in the NGT
Yeah.
court, the BDA said miscreants are setting fire to the lake. So if you have CCTV cameras and if you have fencing, you should know who's setting fire to the lake, and you should be able to keep them out because you've made fencing.
That's yes, very good point. You have asked
I
a very
appreciate
good point. You have asked a very good point. I will answer for that now. Across the lake, that's what, if you replay my whatever I said, it is fencing is not fully complete. There is one side where there is residential areas. There is one side where there is wetlands. There we cannot do any kind of a fencing. Of course, I do not know the point of what BDA said. It is unaware. I am unaware of that particular point. But given the fact that there is one side is open where the residents, where people can walk in, the fishermen who go on a regular
Professor
basis, of
Ramchandra?
course, that part of entry is already there.
Professor Ramchandra wanted to rebut. Professor Ramchandra, go ahead, please.
See, actually, I do not understand why this argument are put forward like this again and again by this person. You know, the encroachment is going on in the region, and I would say that this person should come with us. I will show the encroachment and illegal dumping happening in the lake. And also coming to this treatment
Let him
plant.
finish speaking,
every
please.
3 days. So
Let him
don't
finish
think-
speaking, he's the expert.
Don't be judgmental, sir. Don't be
Let
judgmental.
him finish
You don't
speaking,
know
he's
me.
the expert.
You don't know me. I'm there every other day. I'm a lake activist first. Please don't make personal comments. Please don't
Let him
make
finish,
personal
he is
attacks.
the expert.
Please, you talk from a perspective of the lake. Don't make personal attacks.
Let him finish, he is the expert. Professor Ramchandra, I apologize. Please continue.
That doesn't mean that he will make personal attacks. Yeah, this is not
Yeah,
right. You cannot make personal attacks here.
Actually, to my
He
team,
doesn't
I'd like
know
to
that
hear
I
what
go to the
Professor
lake every other
Ramchandra
day.
has to say, please. Can I please hear Professor Ramchandra? Please go ahead, Professor.
No, well, I am not making any personal thing. I am saying that if someone is putting the wrong facts, which is not acceptable to the Bangaloreans. Now, coming to the sewage treatment plant, you know, there was a mention of that the sewage has to be pumped. You know, the Bangalore has an undulating terrain. We should have taken the gravity flow, gravity into advantage, and should have the treatment plants. Why are we pumping the sewage? This all shows that we are not doing the planning properly. So there is a gap in the planning. There are multi-agencies are involved, fragmented governance. These are the root cause of the problem. And showing the rosy picture in the media will not help. We want the solution. Our children have been exposed to pollutant every day. You know, when the lake catches fire, there are volatile organic compounds and heavy metal in the air. The children are exposed and the residents in the vicinity are exposed to the thing. Who is going to solve this problem? See, we need the solution. That is where we are hopeful that NGT's the whatever the ruling that is coming, if there is a implemented properly, there would be a solution to the thing.
All right. Let me bring in the other members of my panel.
Again, the lake can.
Yes.
Give me a point for rebuttal.
One second. Let me bring in the other members of my panel. Tara Krishnaswamy, and I'm bringing you in, Tara Krishnaswamy, on the Anekal gang rape case that I know that you are working on personally. We've brought this up repeatedly on this channel over and over again, and there has been no solution. There's been no arrest been made, no progress has been made, despite promises by the Home Minister of Karnataka himself. What is the progress on the ground, Tara, and why are you so frustrated? Why should we all be frustrated with the progress on this case?
I think we need to be frustrated with this because from a solving the crime perspective, we simply haven't made any progress at all. The notion that we should have zero tolerance for rape, nobody is willing to come out and say it. They're not even talking, leave alone walking the talk. There have been no arrests made, no charge sheeting done. It's been, 2 months now since the incident happened. And this is not about this particular case that any one of us is, concerned about alone. This is a symptom of the general malaise. When something like this happens, and recently when the CM was in Vijaypura, there was an unfortunate case of a minor rape and a death. And in 3 days, because he was there, he ordered a CID investigation. In 3 days, there were arrests made. So the Karnataka police is able to act really quickly if needed. And yet, in this case, it's been 2 months and we don't have, progress on the crime at all. It has happened in a small town. It has happened with 6 people on 3 bikes. The victim is able to, say what language they were speaking and, what they were doing. They videotaped her. There's been a trail of things that have happened. And yet, there has been no progress on the case. There's been no sketches released. This is really shocking because it simply doesn't send any confidence to any reinforcement to the women of the state that the government is serious about this. Right? Last year we had the New Year's Eve issue, and this year we've seen a spate of things. Every year it happens, and frankly, it doesn't matter if the BJP is in government or the Congress. This pattern just seems to repeat. Just look around India, and it's like the women of India don't matter at all. Even though the election is coming, that is even more shocking. You would think at least during election time they'll get their act together.
Right. I want to bring in, and our phone lines are ringing already. Babu Rao is on the phone line from Bangalore. Babu Rao, if you can hear me, go ahead. All right, we'll try and get Babu Rao in. Deepika Sharma of the BJP, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I would like to say this, that the burning Bengaluru lake is symptomatic of everything that has gone wrong in Karnataka today. And it is not a mere fire in a standing lake. This is symbolic of the pyre or the chitta of the Siddaramaiah government in Karnataka, and this image will signify his defeat in the polls. There is a complete failure of law and order. There is a high level of corruption. There is a complete administrative inefficiency, and there is a complete policy paralysis in the government. All it is beyond the scope of imagination that the National Green Tribunal, wrapping up the Karnataka government today, saying that it is the 6th time that the lake is on fire, there are toxic fumes, and the Karnataka representative is telling the NGT with complete impunity that it is some kind of a grass growing in the lake, and thus that the grass is catching fire. This kind of a logic, not even a class 5th child would speak. The thing is this, that all kinds of toxic effluents, industrial as well as domestic, are pouring into the lake. There is so much of widespread corruption. There is absolutely no check upon where the toxic chemical effluents from all the industries are going because of the heavy amount of corruption. So the thing is this, there is a complete collapse of law and order. There is a complete collapse of administration. The Siddaramaiah government has been one of the most corrupt governments in the history of Karnataka. It has been found napping, and I feel that this government needs to immediately resign.
Kavita Reddy, please respond. Yes, I can see your hand, Vinay Srinivasan. I'll come to you immediately.
It's such a joke that such a joke that the BJP representative is giving ceremonies on the national television, forgetting the fact that it was her own government, which in Karnataka, which let the lake destroy in the begin with. The BBMP became BBMP because of her government. Second fact is that most important fact is it is her people, which is the MLA there. 10 times MLA, you have a second term MP, you have all the corporators who are responsible for the lake, all are from BJP. What is she talking
Madam,
about?
4,000 farmer suicides.
That they have done.
4,000
a single question.
Over what
Farmer
a
suicides
single question in the
over
assembly.
past
Don't
5
make
years.
it a BJP versus Congress. If you make
Not
it
at the
a
same
BJP
time, please.
versus
Not at the
Congress,
same time.
The lake will not benefit. So stay away from this BJP versus Congress debate. The lake will not get
Why
saved because
don't
of
you
BJP versus Congress debate.
why don't you
Accept
guys
the fact
resign
that
and stay away
your
from the
MPs,
government?
Your MLAs are also part
If
of that.
this is the
How
level-
many times-
if this is the
Okay,
level of
ladies,
Not at the same
have
time,
they
ladies,
resigned?
please.
Have your MLA resigned?
No,
Your
no,
MLA
don't
was
shout,
resigned.
don't shout,
You're
don't shout.
shouting help. You guys are you are
One
getting
second, let me,
him out of
okay, alright,
power.
let me bring in Vinay
How are you
Srinivasan.
shouting on this channel help?
What is your
One second, let me,
How are you
one
shouting
second.
on this
Ladies,
channel, hey?
ladies, please, ladies, look, we don't yell at each other on this show. Kavita Reddy. One second. Kavita Reddy, we don't yell at each other on this show. Vinay Srinivasa from the Alternative Law Forum had a point to make. Vinay Srinivas, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I think just a couple of fact checks. See, as far as this Anekal gang rape case is concerned, first you must understand that, according to the law, before a charge sheet is filed, the survivor has to give a statement under section 164 of the CRPC before the magistrate, and the police could not take the survivor before the magistrate because the survivor was not physically able to go. There are definitely lapses by the police, but I think we need to be careful about what are the lapses by the state government in terms of the as far as this gang rape is concerned, and what are not the lapses. Instead of just see, there are several things, right? One thing is, okay, the Karnataka government has opened centers for survivors of rape. The Women and Child Welfare Department did some coordination with the police. There was a police person posted round the clock, as far as this survivor was concerned. But yes, the arrests have not been made. There is no sketches released. But we can't just keep saying the charge sheet has not been filed. Yes, the charge sheet has not been filed because the statement had to be recorded. The police waited till the 42nd day till the statement had to be recorded, right? But there are some other important questions as well, right? As far as this, when you're looking at survivors, it's not just the law and order issue of the charge sheet and the arrest. How well is the survivor taken care of in the hospital? For example, the police forcefully shifted the survivor after certain days, to a care home where the person had to face severe problems, then the police had to shift her back, and while moving her from the government hospital, they had to physically carry her in a chair down a flight of stairs and do that. These are some issues about how exactly are survivors handled, what is the coordination between the Women and Child Welfare Department and the police. These are the questions we need to be asking, right? And these are some questions we need to do that. Secondly, as far as this Karnataka Bandh is concerned, another fact check is it's not called by the Karnataka Rakshana Vedike. It was called by this Kannada Sangatnegala Okkuta. It is not a language issue. I definitely don't support the imposition of any bandh, and I don't support the vandalism that was done today in the name of the bandh. Any bandh, only if people are interested and if they support it, it's fine. I don't support the vandalism, but I'm just saying that, we need to look at the fact. This is not a language issue. This is not a bandh called because of a language issue. That said, the right question we need to be asking, in fact, is why did the Kannada Sangatnegala Okkuta give a bandh call today when the farmers didn't want the bandh call today? The farmers wanted the bandh call on 4th when the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, is coming. And that is the question we need to be asking. So I'm just saying that, when we're debating these kind of sensitive issues, let's get our facts straight. This is not about language. This is not about Karnataka Rakshana Vedike. There are factions of the Karnataka Rakshana Vedike. There was one faction which was active today. What we need to ask is, in my area, Cooktown, street vendors, there was some street vendors who were doing business, and, they were forced to kind of shut down around afternoon. Why were they forced to shut down? What was the police doing? This is the question. And the question we need to ask is, why did they not support the farmers? Why are they waking up about Mahadai now? Mahadai issue has been happening since 2-3 years. These are the questions we need to be asking. Again, as far as Bengaluru Lake is concerned, right? The point is, yes, there has been a lack of progress as far as the state government is concerned, as far as the BBMP is concerned, as far as the BWSSB is concerned. There are some simple things which they need to do is to figure out who's releasing the effluents into the lake, how much of it is domestic effluents, how much of it is industrial effluents. What is, if they've really done that, why is the data not out there? And the second question is, you can't treat this as a single lake issue. The other panelist, Mr. General J.J. Singh, talking about Alsur Lake, being maintained by the army, this is being maintained by government agencies. I'm sorry, we can't treat this as a single lake issue unless you're going to look at it upstream, unless you're going to look at the Raja Kalways. Yes, the BBMP has failed to act on the encroachments. I will definitely say that. They started an encroachment clearance drive. They stopped that. And the point is, if you're not going to look upstream, if you're not going to look at why are the Raja Kalways, concretized, they need to have certain kind of plants which will allow the kind of sludge to stay back near the plants and the water to flow. We need to be looking at this larger level issue. If you're going to keep focusing on the Bengaluru lake and the fire and only just be looking at it as a single lake issue, there are hundreds of other lakes in Bangalore. They're all interconnected through a system. We're not going to be able to solve it.
Yes, yes. One more voice I need to bring in. One more voice I need to bring in is Aftab Ahmed Khan, former IPS officer, joining us from Mumbai. Mr. Khan, thank you for joining us and thank you for your patience. We're talking about cases that have not been solved. One is the Gauri Lankesh murder. The second one is the Anekal gang rape case, where there were 6 people who raped one woman on the outskirts of Bangalore. Is there an issue with police that is not able to solve a case after 2 months? They have not released sketches. They have not managed to pick anybody up. Is this reason for concern, Mr. Khan?
Yeah, it is a matter of concern. In fact, it's quite agonizing the way the poor woman was treated, the survivor, and the apathy, callousness of the police in shifting her when she was not well. But very frankly, I've been hearing the discussion for the last 40 minutes. The way law and order is being lambasted in Karnataka, I frankly don't think a couple of stray incidents or even a few stray incidents should reflect on the whole on the law and order situation in Karnataka. I've spent some time in Karnataka in the recent past where I found the law and order, the traffic management and policing in general to be as good, if not better, than most of the other states. So I don't think, yes, these 2 cases I would definitely comment that the police seems to be completely at sea, and I don't know whether I would suspect in most such cases where the survivor is not given enough credence is when the accused are people from influential families, as it happens in Haryana and other states. But I really don't know. I would think the senior officers need to look into these couple of cases, and I don't think we should tar the entire police force or the administration with the same brush.
Right, we have a couple of people on the phone line. Babu Rao on the phone line from Bangalore. Babu Rao, go ahead.
Good evening, Faye. And one thing I want to tell you before I put my few sentences, I really admire you for the hope that you have that you can help us in Bangalore.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
And I'm so glad that repeatedly you're bringing up these issues of Bangalore. I'm 65-year-old. I have lived all along here. I have traveled all around the world. I have a request to the spokesperson, which I have earlier also told of the Congress. First, have the patience. Don't get worked up from the comments. Your job when you come for discussion like this is to take the feedback from other people, listen to them patiently, and give the answers that are possible. You look at all the issues here. You look at Bengaluru Lake or Vartur Lake. I have been working in a multinational company heading. I have seen deterioration of all the lakes, and it is such a horrible situation that as a Bengaluru, which was known as a garden city, thanks to Tipu Sultan, who gave Lalbagh and Kaban Park, we have not been able to create even a small park, leave alone all these things. And everything is politicalized, and the whole last 1 year has been about how to get re-elected. Every government has problems, funds problems, but just like in the corporate, you prioritize, you assess, take the expert's opinion. And I will tell you, we are running a small school. We have put up a STP in just a matter of 3 months because we know with ethics and values how we have run multinational companies. And it doesn't take such a big funding for all these apartments around to put the STP, and if they have to be driven to the walls, shut down their discharges. Do something, prioritize, do something. You cannot keep saying that you are governing. The whole governing for the last one year is about how to get re-elected. When I see the chief minister on every bus stand claiming that he has solved all the problems, I want to request, sir, we elect you for solving the problem. Please prioritize and work on that every day, morning to evening. That is all.
Let me take this back to Kavita Reddy. Kavita Reddy, you've heard everybody speak. The biggest question, of course, is the fact that the Karnataka Bandh that was called today, the vandalizing we saw, the fact that the city of Bengaluru is constantly being crippled by problems like this. There are exams that had to be rescheduled for children today. What is the Karnataka government, does this Bandh have your blessing? Where did this Bandh come from? Please explain it to us.
Okay, this Bandh was called by the Vakuta of the Kannada Sanghas, and as Vinay rightly said, this has nothing to do with the Kannada language. This has to do with the Mahadai issue, based on which the farmers as well as the other Vakutas came together and announced a Bandh for it.
Vinay also said that this was not done with the farmers' blessings. You ignored the farmers' needs and you went out and picked a different date. Why did that happen?
No, ma'am. You know, every time when you give others a time to speak, you don't intervene. When I am speaking, you come again and again and ask a different question. Let me finish. This in support of the farmers, or they're fighting for, it is already entered the stage of 1,000 days, and this also for the fact that this, along with the film authorities, this Bandh was called. And their understanding, this is not my stand, this is their understanding, is because of the fact that there is an all-party delegation which is going to go in the next few days. So prior to that, they wanted to do this Bandh so that everybody come together and go as a single unit of Karnataka, irrespective of parties, for a delegation to understand that, okay, let's go resolve this, so that all the parties put together are able to come to a single platform. That is how it was perceived. The Bandh, there were a few stray incidents here and there. I've been going around the city all through the day, so there has not been any major incidents as such. There were, of course, some stray incidents here and there, but more or less the Bandh has been quite effective. There were police all through. In fact, early in the morning when I went for a debate also, as early as about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, they were there. All the police.
What is this Bandh achieved? Other than keeping people from their offices, not allowing anybody to function, what is this Bandh achieved?
That is not. I mean, that you should ask. Can you? That is not, that you have to ask the Vakuta people. You cannot ask me that, because I am not here for the Bandh. Okay, we are not here for the Bandh as such. You can call them. You can call them on the debate and ask. I am not going to speak on their behalf. It is something which they have called for. And it has nothing to. Then coming to one more point, I think one of the gentlemen made with regard to the Bengaluru Lake case, who had called. See, the fact of the matter is that this is something which we have inherited. It's a 10-year-old issue.
It is not in government for how long now? How much longer are you going to blame the previous government? Why don't we blame the British or take it all the way back to Tipu Sultan? If we are going to keep blaming the governments before us, take responsibility for the fact that you run this state for 5 years now.
Which are revived. So don't tell that we have not revived the lake. There are 56 lakes, upstream lakes of Madiwala, Somsundrapalya, Mangavampalya, and Agra Lake are revived. How can you say that the lakes are not revived? 56 lakes have been revived. Don't make a random statement. Please don't make a random statement for
Commodore G.J. Singh, please go ahead. Commodore Singh.
Don't discredit that.
I just want to bring in a point here.
It's fine.
That first of all, we have to admit it that we are facing a problem. And the problem is Bengaluru Lake. No, the point is,
Kavita Reddy, please listen. Kavita Reddy, please listen.
Brought in Alsur Lake here is that this water body, that Bengaluru Lake, is 950 acre. It lies on the map of Bangalore on the tech corridor, and it is very close to the IT hub, which is Whitefields. So this is something which goes around the world. There are professionals, there are people who are working in these IT companies and they go all over, and therefore they carry a very negative message. Bangalore, becomes something like a city which is not very clean when you have the fire taking place on the lake 6 times in last 2.5 years, 30 months. So this is something which is a very frequent phenomena, and the nature, the fire has been set probably because of methane lake or whatever may be the reasons. It is something which is sending a very negative
sending a negative image of brand Bangalore to the rest of the world. Tara Krishnaswamy, go ahead. Tara Krishnaswamy is also an entrepreneur. How inconvenient is it when the city shuts down in this manner if we are building a city that is meant to be for global business, Tara?
Yeah, I'm in the software industry. I'm not an entrepreneur, but I'm in the software industry, and it's a shame when bunds happen, because there are much better, more democratic ways of protest without inconveniencing everybody. But back to the lake issue, the fact is even the Alsur Lake has had thousands of dead fish floating up time and again over the past few years. And the fact also is that foam was noticed on the Bengaluru Lake in 2010 when other governments were ruling Bangalore. And like Vinay said, all of these things are connected. All lakes, all water bodies. In fact, the stormwater drains and the sewage also is connected in Bangalore because of mismanagement. But the root cause of all this is the fact that the city agencies don't report to one person. There is no one neck to choke. There's no coordination between these agencies. And so long as that continues, we cannot take anyone to task. No one is accountable for these things. And no government wants to take the ownership to be able to fix the root cause, to actually decentralize, give the powers for planning to the MPC, to running the city to BBMP, to make the mayor the head of the city. The city is seen as a milking machine, right? So nothing is decentralized, and you don't have a single, accountable person. And on the other note, for the Anikal rape case, I also agree with what Vinay said. It may not only be about charge sheeting, but as I said, neither sketches have been released nor arrests have been made. And most importantly, the Supreme Court actually ruled after Nirbhaya, saying just like there should be fast track courts, there should be fast tracking of the police investigation as well of rape cases. It's been over 8 weeks. If you must wait for Section 164 statement to be made, which is correct, there is also provision to get that statement via Skype, because in many of such heinous cases with grievous injuries, the victim is unable to, go and approach the magistrate to have such a statement, is unable to move, is injured, is in terrible condition. So the statement is made over Skype. It wasn't. It's 8 weeks. How do you expect the evidence to last?
Absolutely. I have Vishwanathan on the phone line from Bangalore. Vishwanathan, go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
See, the kind of administration can be seen here in the so-called Silicon City of Bangalore. You cannot see a stretch of 500 meters of the road with a neatly laid layer. Everywhere you can find out photos or a dugout, this thing like that. Administration is total paralysis. Multiple agencies are involved, but nothing is happening properly. In my own area in Jakku, the road is dug out for some laying the sewage pipe. For the last 4 months, one stretch of the road is completely closed.
Yes.
Recently, in another part of the city, when one of the citizens questioned some agencies digging out the road, he was kidnapped, taken to an office, government office, and he was beaten black and blue. This is the kind of affairs happening. And they will dig out all the drains just before the rain approaches.
So where is the planning? Where is the administration? Professor T.V. Ramchandra, you've heard everybody speak. These are all different issues, but it all points to a breakdown in administration, a breakdown in the structure of those people who are running the city and the state.
See, the main argument,
Professor Ramchandra? All right, I'm not sure if he can hear me. All right, Vinay, go ahead. Vinay, go ahead, please.
Yes, there are a couple of points we need to make. As far as again this Anankal gang rape case is concerned, there are some questions we need to ask the police, right? One, there has been an extreme stigmatization of the survivor. The way the police on the ground have been interacting with the survivor, and it's not just the police on the ground, but right, even IPS officers, the way they've been talking about it. Secondly, it required the intervention of the Women and Child Welfare Department Secretary and the Commissioner of Police to shift the survivor back from the state home to the hospital after the police, forcefully moved the survivor there. These are some questions which we need to be asking as to what is it? If you're going to stigmatize every rape survivor like this.
So, explain to our audience, forgive me for interrupting you. When you say how they're stigmatizing or how they're treating this survivor, what do you mean specifically?
The way you interact with the survivor when the complaint is registered, the way things are spoken unofficially, okay, there is a FIR. First of all, in the FIR, section 120A of criminal conspiracy had to be added to the FIR. That has not been added. These are the questions that we need to ask the police, that, why are these sections not there, right? Secondly, the way you speak to the person, the way you interact with the person, the way their personnel on the ground, the way, even the commissioners of police consider this, right? People saying that, talking about her character or talking about what she was doing, these are not relevant questions. What she was doing for a living, etc. is not a relevant question. The relevant question is, there is an assault, a woman has come and said there has been an assault, and what are you doing as far as the criminal procedure is concerned, and what are you doing as far as taking care of the survivor is concerned. The survivor treatment is not yet over. Why did you shift the survivor from the hospital to the state home, and why did you shift in such a manner that it just increased the kind of suffering of the survivor, and it kind of increased the kind of it kind of stopped their healing, and then you had to bring the person back after the intervention of the Women and Child Welfare Department Secretary and the Commissioner of Police. Why do we need intervention of such high level officers for each case? And obviously there has been an entire team of people from different organizations who've been working with the survivor,
right.
and
these are all obviously questions that Kavita Reddy is going to have to answer on behalf of the government. Kavita Reddy, if there's something more interesting on your phone that you'd like to read, because these are questions that Vinay is asking that you're going to have to answer.
I just want to state one point about these lakes, Faye.
Yes, go ahead, Vinay.
I just want to state one point about these lakes which people have been ignoring. See, just last month, there were 3 deaths in a sewage treatment plant in HSR layout of Bengaluru. We have been setting up STPs, but we don't know how to clean these STPs. We are just sending people inside the STPs. We have the Indian Institute of Science. We have the Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics. We don't have the technology for people to clean manholes and to clean STPs. How long are we going to let people die? 75 people have died in 34 incidents in the last 10 years. 3 people died outside the Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics. We have an Indian Institute of Science spread over 250 acres with hundreds of scientists. Are we not able to
all right, fair enough. Let me bring in Deepika Sharma of the BJP. Deepika Sharma.
STPs.
Right. Okay. Deepika Sharma, there are lots of questions that I've asked that have been asked at this point. They're about administration, they're about law and order, and they're about simply using the technology that is so easily available in Bangalore to simply run the city.
See, at the end of the day, the intention is not there to govern or to administer, and the intention was not there right from the beginning. The fact of the matter is this, that the city administration, the city day-to-day life has been outsourced to those people who are organizing bandh at the rate of a day. So, the Siddaramaiah government, in order to hide its complete lack of law and order, complete administrative inefficiency and failure, policy paralysis, complete lack of governance in the state, it has outsourced.
BJP or Congress both indulge in state-sponsored bandhs. This is not a speciality of one party. When Mr. Ashoka of the BJP was the transport minister, BMTC, he would just by morning 10 o'clock, buses would be off the road. It's the same thing which has happened with the Congress government now.
Finish.
Yes.
No, I'm just trying to tell you, ma'am, that your government and the Congress, for us, it's 2 sides of the same coin.
Just because
you can't say that they state-sponsored bandh, all of you are state-sponsoring bandh.
So just because
to the people.
Just because a political party makes a mistake and then it is thrown out, does not mean that the incumbent government follows the same footsteps, and then it paves the way for its throwing out. I have right in the beginning of the program, the fall of the Siddaramaiah government in history will be remembered by this burning lake. Second of all, I would like to ask the Gauri Lankesh murder. It is such a high-profile murder. People, their vice president, their then vice president, now president, is tweeting that BJP and RSS are behind it. The CM is saying BJP and RSS are behind it. 5 months into the reputed journalist murder, why haven't the suspects been caught right now?
Right.
Till now, the gang
Kavita
case,
Reddy,
one of
Kavita
the
Reddy, please respond. Kavita Reddy, please respond.
One of the panelists said that 2-3 out of the way episodes don't make a lack of law and order. I completely disagree. A gang rape or a rape, even one case happening any which way, is bad enough.
You agree? Then you'll have to agree about that about Haryana as well, where 10 rapes happened in 10 days.
The thing is this: all governments would be needing to take the responsibility, and no government can run away. And I think People's Court is the final court that decides government's functioning.
Kavita Reddy, go ahead.
I mean, look at the kind of statement the BJP person is making on a day when the Karni Sena has taken over 4 of their state governments today, and they are going on a rampage, and they're hitting the kids who are in a bus. So keeping that aside, I think everybody knows the MP Madhya Pradesh is literally the rape capital
you know your candidate.
So keeping it aside,
who is doing it in Rajasthan?
Let her finish. Let her finish.
Who is doing it in Rajasthan? Should I show you the photograph right now?
Madam, the rape case of Danama was raped. Danama was
raped
and murdered by your
Should I show you should I show your Congress worker
by your BJP worker who was arrested?
Should I show the photograph to you right on the television? Who is with Karni Sena? On 15th of January, when Karni Sena held a press conference, whom did it say? Whom did it say that Karni Sena will support which candidate in the coming bypolls? No, you made it focus.
Focus on the problem.
Focus on Congress issue. You have got a lot to answer. Kindly give your answer.
Let her finish answering. And I have to go back to Mr. Khan as well.
You have to sit in opposition. Stay calm. You have to sit in opposition for 5 years. Prepare for it. Stay calm. Stay calm. Stay calm.
I have a citizen.
Stay calm.
I have a citizen on the phone line. Mr. Thomas on the phone line from Bangalore. Vakre Thomas on the phone line from Bangalore. Go ahead, Mr. Thomas.
Hello, Faye.
Yes. Yes, Mr.
First and
Thomas.
foremost, the BBMP was created as an additional alphabet to the BBMP. That means Greater Bangalore. It is no greater in any way. The government of the day at that point in time introduced a vicious scheme called the Akrama Sakrama. Now, this Akrama Sakrama was a creation of the government of that day, where we amended the Karnataka Town and Country Planning Act. We as an RWA filed a PIL stating that this is an atrocious scheme which we cannot afford to pay. We've already paid the panchayat, we've got our plan sanctions, we've built our homes, we're living here. Therefore, kindly reduce the amount that you are calling it a so-called betterment. Now, they were not equipped to handle this huge area that they were taking as Greater Bangalore, which comprised of 110 villages and 10 TMCs, which were managed by self-government, that is a panchayat local self-government. Now, these people took it over. They didn't have the wherewithal. They didn't have the money. They tried to extract money from us. So we filed a PIL. We got some reprieve, but then it became a political slugfest.
Yes.
So it became Congress versus the BJP. Now, finally, people have had a field day. They're building all over stormwater drains. They're building over rascalways, blocking your drains that are taking water to the lakes. Your present Bengaluru problem is a fallout of this draconian law which they amended, which is and created this Akrama Sakrama. If this Akrama Sakrama was implemented in true spirit, people would have paid the betterment charges. You would have got a plan sanction. You would not be dumping sewage in stormwater drain. Today, everybody is building any which way you want. It's joint development. Can you imagine, Faye, that me and my neighbor can join together and build the house?
Yes, let me take this back to Professor Ramchandra. Professor Ramchandra, you've heard all of the issues that people are talking about. These are all administrative failures within the government. The fact that the lakes, the construction, there's the thing that everybody notices most about the city of Bangalore in the last few years is the kind of construction that has taken place, unabetted, unchecked construction. Professor Ramchandra.
Well, if you look at the kind of the growth that Bangalore has witnessed over the last 4 decades, we see 1028% increase in the concrete area, and we have lost 88% vegetation and 79% water bodies. Now, see the crucial the ecological system, like the stormwater drains are being abused in the city. Either it is encroached or it is deliberately narrowed and concretized. See, the government has money, BBMP has a money to concretize the drains, which is an unwanted thing, and they are killing the drains. For every kilometer they are wasting 8 crores. Instead of that, they could have rejuvenated the lake. See, the city has to be governed. It is not just the discussion in this one and shouting in the media room. We need the solution. That is where I think the day when the politicians stop blaming each other, I think we will have the solution. We elect, as a citizen, we select the people, we select the government, we elect the government to govern, not to blame the previous government or the future government. We want the solution. As a Bangalorean, as a researcher in this domain, I urge the government to intervene immediately and solve the problem of the water contamination and air contamination. Prevent our children being exposed to this contaminants at least from now onwards. NGT is helping you in fixing the deadlines. Otherwise, the bureaucracy, the colonial mindset bureaucracy will never do the job, and last 18 months they have slept over it. They have done only minimal things. So we want the solution. The sewage has to be treated. Effluent, untreated effluent should not come to the lake. We have the the good environmental laws in the country. The Water Act is there, Air Act is there, but implementation is lacking, and everybody is wasting the money. Every government official is wasting the public money for unwanted things like concretizing, narrowing the drain. In the process, we have the flooding in the region. If you look at the floods that happened in Koramangala, it is mainly because of narrowing the drains. And also the region which is supposed to be conserved, the valley zone, the Agara and Bengaluru region. Now there is a move to have the SEZ. See, these people do not understand the implication of removing the wetland region or the valley zone. They are abusing these zones, and that's where we have the floods, and other end they are contaminating the lake. We need the solution. We want the treatment to happen on priority. Let us discuss about this thing in some other forum, but let the government act and solve our problem. And also there is a move by the government to have the Bangalore as a second capital of the country. I think that is atrocious. When Bangalore is dying, how can anybody can ask for a second capital status? See, that shows that they lack the vision. The vision should have been to solve the local problems and then demand something from the government of India. Then just because IT sector has done something marvelous doesn't mean that Bangalore is on the top. Bangalore is on the top because of the environmental issues. The Bangalore is dying because of the mismanagement by the colonial rulers of the day. So the last 5 or 10 years we are seeing consistently the Bangalore is dying, and it is going to die. By 2020, that's what my study shows. I have written the article and I have brought this to the notice of all the bureaucrats and the politicians, but in spite of that, I do not know what courage these people have to ask for the second capital status for the Bangalore. They are going to kill, if not 2020, they will kill tomorrow itself by having the second capital status to the Bangalore. We do not want the second capital status to the Bangalore. We want the clean air, water and environment for our children. Let our children live in Bangalore without any health issues. Then we can think of second capital or anything. I want the children to be happy.
Well, it couldn't have been better said than Professor Ramchandra putting it out there that Bangalore is dying and that the government of the day is complicit in killing the city of Bangalore, and there seems to be a frustration here from the citizens of Bangalore towards various forms of administration. Various stories are coming up that people are frustrated and they're unhappy. And on this channel, we're going to continue to bring up uncomfortable stories about various state governments, about various state failures. It boils down to simply this, like Professor Ramchandra told us, it's about what we pass on to our children. As tax-paying citizens, whether you live in Delhi, or in Bangalore, or in Chennai, or in Hyderabad, or in Mumbai, remember that each and every one of these cities and states has a different government in power. What is the similarity of all of these governments? Corruption. And what are the symptoms of corruption? The vision that you're looking at on your screen right now. Lakes that are on fire, encroachment, flooding, poisoned water, poisoned air. children that are being attacked, children that are dying, children that are falling sick. We pay taxes, and in return for taxes, our governments need to provide us with certain things: education, healthcare, clean water, clean air, and safety. How many of our cities can actually say today that they are able to do these things? How many of them are charging taxes? All of them are charging taxes. We don't care which political party you are from. If you are mismanaging our cities, if you are poisoning our children, if you are taking our money out of our pockets and not delivering the services, we will come down hard on each and every government. The Aam Aadmi Party government in Delhi, the Congress party in Bangalore, the BJP in Maharashtra, the AIADMK in Chennai, the TMC in Calcutta. We don't care which party you are from. All of you are accountable to us as citizens, and we will ask the questions that make you uncomfortable. And you better have answers, because you cannot squander away our money and squander away our children's future at the same time. Have your answers ready, because Mirana will ask you the questions every night. Thanks for watching.